Good morning, it's Judge's Jules. It's a Tuesday morning as it happens. Hello, Si, how are you? And how was Cheltenham? I think it was pretty tough actually this weekend.
Yeah, great start, mate. Great start. And then a lot of falls, a few fallers, a few kicks where it hurts. But all in all, I think it was great to get a big meeting there back and
Yeah,
wet the juices for March.
yes, yeah. I mean, there was some good racing there, wasn't there? And there's some decent ones. Funny enough, all my ones from the track are from Cheltenham. I'm pretty sure you feel the same way as well, don't you?
Yeah, I've got two from Sunday, the final day. Yeah.
Well done. And I got 3 from Saturday. So with no further ado, we'll crack on and get it sorted then.
Right. So
my first one is pretty much an old faithful actually. Ran in the, where are we? The horse I'm looking at is Chantry House. I thought this was a very interesting run in the handicap hurdle on the Saturday.
255.
The race won by Buddy One. I'm trying to think what time the race was now. We'll find it in a minute. Anyway,
255. 255.
Thank you very much. Chantry House, believe it or not, started favourite for the King George last year, which I'm ashamed to say I didn't actually tip it up that day, but I wouldn't have been tipping up if I'd known it was going to end up favourite. But obviously we were on at a much bigger price. This horse obviously lost its way last year, pretty much after that. He won an egg and spoon race from Santini next time out with cheek pieces on, and then it pulled up, fell over, and unseated after that since. But I thought this was much more like it. I don't know about you. I thought this was an interesting run, very much with a view to later in the season. Obviously, they're probably going to likely go for what was the old Hennessy, I'm guessing, with this particular horse. But I'd be quite keen on this, trying to qualify for a per temps final. Do you know what I mean? I actually quite like the idea of going hurdling with this horse, and I think this was a decent run because it was a very kind ride. It was one of them educational rides, first time out for the season. He's likely to be dropped. There's off a mark of 147 here, but even the chase mark's been dropped since. This also, like I say, was favourite for a King George, and he'll have a chance in a decent handicap. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. He's an extremely talented but inconsistent racehorse, isn't he? And on his day, he's highly capable and was a good hurdler first of all. Held up in rear, headway midfield. I think the front two had gone, but it was a very interesting run. My problem with Chantry House is it's hard to predict. If you look at his form, he can go good run, bad run, good. But yeah, if they do reinvent him as a long distance hurdler, I think that would be very interesting. I mean, one thing to say about this race is I received about 5 separate messages for this place net of pipes. I was expecting to see the new Desert Orchid, and it was back from like 8-1 in the week, wasn't it? Went off 7-2. And after 2 hurdles, I was watching it thinking, well, that's beat. So what the hell's gone on there? He must have been showing them plenty at home because that was too bad to be true. It was a strange weekend for horses. There
were some funny gambles, weren't there?
Yeah, the big gambles from yards that know the time of day. I mean, God, if there's anybody who should know, I mean, who's landed more Cheltenham gambles, it's the Pipe family. To be so far out, so it might come to light. I mean, yet another Irish winner, Buddy One, who I thought was always doing enough. The newest one for Twiston Davis, the second. Twiston Davis had a good 3 days, I think, on the whole.
Yeah,
a really good.
He's also running well.
Yeah, they've had a quiet couple of years, Cheltenham-wise, in terms of not just this meeting, but the biggie. And they always really, I mean, their local yard, and it is be-all and end-all to them. So they'll be very happy that they had a good weekend. But yeah, Chantry House, I think if he does reinvent himself as a long-distance hurdler, I mean, that could run off 12 stone if he needed the run. Could he even be a sneaky outsider for a Stayers hurdle?
Yeah, possibly, but yeah,
It was won by a handicapper last year.
Yes, yeah, it was. And to be fair, if you actually look at even the old boys, that the last year's Stayers hurdle winner won of Patents in the past, didn't he? So,
not in a vintage spell for distance.
No, definitely not. Wouldn't like be the possibility.
The horse has got the class to go favourite for a King George. Don't tell me, he isn't classy enough to line up in a grid. I'm just throwing it out there. If they are going to go over hurdles, I mean, he was off
Yeah.
top weight. Remember, he's put some good figures up there, and he wasn't fully wound up. You could tell, and he wasn't.
No, that's
overly
why
wound
he was definitely ridden with like another day in mind. I think would be a better way of describing it.
Yeah, definitely. So just throw that out. But I tell you what, we'll have a check what babe. He won't be priced, will he? But it'd be very interesting. To chuck
that's
a
not
few
funny
quid
enough. That's not the realms of impossibility. Something like that.
No, you see. I wouldn't mind chucking a few quid at him each way now at a big price and seeing where they go with him. You know, if he was to
Especially if,
win,
like, let's say next time out over fences, you know, he falls again or doesn't run very well, they could easily go straight then back. Right, we're going to run over hurdles.
Or they could make. And let's be honest. No offense to the horse, he ain't going to win a biggie over fences at Cheltenham. He just isn't. He's time.
No, I know he started favourite for a King George, but he certainly can see him winning a good handicap, but not one of the grade ones, I don't think.
Yeah, right. I shall kick off with sadly for anyone who's watching who's in the old Trackman service, sadly a faller. And
quite a few of them, but the key jumps weren't there. Yeah,
they were. And the thing is, there's a sort of key unanswered question for this race. It's the 145 on Sunday, the Cavani Novice Limited Handicap Chase. I think it was a really good race. Ginny's Destiny was the winner, won by 10 lengths in the end. But the notebook horse, the tracker horse, is Krabilly for John Joe O'Neill. I say it was painful viewing for anybody in the Trackman service. I know he was there watching it and was very confident. I watched this again last night, and John Joe O'Neill Jr. was very, very good on this horse the whole way around. He travelled really well, and he kept him under wraps and hung on to him. Some of the jumps for a horse that's never jumped a fence in public were absolutely superb. I know he schooled sensationally. He went second 3 out. He let a bit of rain out, and he just come alongside Ginny's Destiny at the second last. Now, afterwards, Paul Nicholls and Cobden said that they felt Ginny's Destiny had loads left. And the fact that it won by 10 lengths would back that up. But let me tell you, this Krabilly had so much left. It would have been a real ding-dong. I'm not saying it definitely would have won, but you can't say that it definitely wouldn't have done. But what I do know is there was plenty left. It sees out this trip. It was last seen winning a really high-class handicap hurdle with ease at Sandown last April. And when a horse falls on debut, the tempting thing is to say you maybe need to avoid it next time, or it needs to build up the confidence. But it didn't really fall. It sort of slid on landing. And it had jumped so well. It actually jumped the fence perfectly. It just, for whatever reason, slid and the legs sort of fell under it. But I suspect they'll give it a bit of time off and a bit of schooling, but I don't think this is the sort of horse that's going to be spooked too much by what happens. I still think he's got a huge future over fences, this horse. And he's my eye catcher. Yes, he fell, and the old adage, never bet a horse next time after a fall or pulled up, is one I do see the logic of, but I'm going to back this Krabilly. And if they ever meet again, I think I'll back him to turn this over. So Krabilly is my first.
Yeah, so that second last does claim a few too many victims, really, doesn't it? That second last there. Yeah, out of all the fences, it's the one fence that they seem to, that claims a few more victims than any other fence there. Yeah, it does. I think it's a slight undulation as well on the old course, so maybe it sort of fell away from it. They've repositioned the fence as well, haven't they? They've repositioned it. But anyway, he says, and also solid form, because that Railway Hurricane or whatever it's called, the third's a right solid yardstick. So the right horses were involved, and like you say, and it fell far enough out. I don't think the handicapper can be hard on it either. I don't think he can actually allow for it from the second last. So if he fell at the last, he'd probably give him a few extra pounds, but he might be left alone. This is the sort of horse that I could see running as a novice in an all-age handicap at one of the both festivals. Yeah. I think because he's so professional, so experienced a hurdler. Yeah. Even though he's fallen, he didn't look remotely novice-y for most of it. He looked very professional, and I know he schooled well. So I think they might chuck him in, JP horse, into a real big festival handicap, but he'll have to go up the weights to get in. Absolutely. Well, just to a little brief chat about the road to return ride. I mean, it did look bad, but it always feels to me it's a bit of a shame when they have a right go at an amateur jockey when he's given one a shocker, when perhaps they should be having a go at a few of these professionals that are given them, let's say, not such a good ride. I thought it looked bad. It's very bad optically, but they tend to always seem to throw the book at the kids, don't they, without actually having a go at some of the professionals sometimes.
Have we got the race?
I've just got rid of the road to return race. Yeah, it was held up out the back. Trying to think what won it now. It was the Irish horse down the bottom won the race, didn't it? Under supervision came second. The Venetia Williams horse ran the race. But I just feel that's just a note in point that it was bad, but I would like to see that the game governed a little bit stronger sometimes. I don't know about you.
No, completely.
It's always easy to pick on the kids, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's always the young jocks and the small trainers that get the big suspensions, isn't it? It seems.
Yeah, I suppose that was my real point on it.
Yeah, so, no, it looked appalling, and perceptions, everything in it. And like we said before, if people bet these horses, these quietly ridden ones and ones that appear to be not trying, then you've lost a potential racing fan and someone betting on it forever, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a longer write-up for a horse in its notes. It literally was a Bible of the passage of the Bible, if you like. So anyway, please watch that one back. But my second one is a Venetia Williams horse running the Paddy Power. And look, I think this is going to be real solid form. Look, the winner was very impressive, and you can certainly see why it's already won a Grade 1. Definitely, and all the right horses were there because it actually beat Not Long Till May, which obviously it did at the Cheltenham Festival. So an Unexpected Party also running that race came 5th. So the 2 mile 4 race at Cheltenham has really been franked. And also, if you also look back at previous form, Il Redoto and Fugitive both finished in the first 2 in a big handicap at Cheltenham last season. So the right sort of horses are all involved here. But the horse I wanted to follow is a horse called Easy As That. Venetia Williams, her horses are going really well at the moment. This was the horse's first run after a 252-day break. Has run well fresh in the past, but I mean, ideally, you'd like to think you'd have a run beforehand. Made some mistakes early and got herself too far behind, but did stay on really well into 6th. This horse was most progressive over fences last season and thrashed 5-star Getaway at Newcastle last year before starting a short price favourite at Haydock in a Grade 3 handicap chase and didn't run its race for some reason. But if you look at the horse's form at Haydock, I can see, bear in mind you always get a bit of juice there, I can see him winning there shortly. I don't know what you think. I think he'd be lined up for a Haydock chase in the next, sort of 2 or 3, well, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Certainly next 2 or 3 months for sure. I thought it was a winner waiting to happen myself. Easy as that.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, and I think you're right. Haydock will be the next port of call. A very strong handicap race as it always is. I just one word, a little caution for. I'm seeing lots of articles and lots of people saying how they've got big bets on for the Ryanair and Stage Star, this, that, the other, and it was very impressive. But you've got to say, Judge, he didn't take on the big Irish horses that he'd have to take on off-level weights in March. None of them were there, were they? So very careful about that. It's a whole different ball game taking on the Mullins Elliott artillery at Cheltenham in March. I'm not being negative. He may well do it, but you've got to ask yourself, what would they have done off that weight on Saturday? The type of horses he's going to have to beat in March. And many of them would probably have won as easy. So I'm just one word of caution there. Year after year after year, we see Mullins and Elliott clean up the big races at Cheltenham. And Stage Star's still got to prove it can mix it in their company. But it was a very, very strong handicap performance. I agree with you about Venetia horse. The one that disappointed for me was Unexpected Party, who I thought pulled really hard for the first circuit and really took his chance away because he just faded then. And it's no surprise at all. on soft ground after pulling like that. And what surprised me about that was it wasn't his first time out. He'd won well at Chepstow.
Absolutely. They got the freshness out of him, wouldn't you?
They got the freshness out of him. And at the weight, and after that, I really fancied him to beat Stage Star. So I've got that badly wrong. But I just think that horse needs to learn to settle. Otherwise, he's not going to fulfill his potential. And he's not far behind, or he wasn't far behind Stage Star on the ratings before that. And certainly getting the amount of weight he was getting, they should have finished virtually level. So that was the disappointment. But Stage Star, very, very impressive. I thought Fugitive ran well for Richard Hobson in fourth. I just got to mention about Gabby
That's
Sheen.
a solid one, isn't it? Right.
Oh, you can handicap it around that. And I'm not being negative about Stage Star. I'm just trying to be realistic to people about how hard it is to win these championship races and to beat Mullins and Elliott. So just be careful about steaming in too much. So why not wait till the day?
Little caveat on Stage Star. Hard to believe that won a 2-runner chase round Plumpton, in it, last year.
Yeah, and hard to believe he got beat so badly at where was it?
Aintree won it afterwards.
Yeah. But he got beat at Newbury as well, hadn't he? Before that.
That's right. Yes, you can argue he's probably not the most consistent nag as well. So who knows?
Yeah. But he may have improved. I'm just saying, if you're going to have a big bet on the Ryanair, I don't think his price will shorten that much because I don't think we'll see him again before that. So
possibly.
Why not hang on? Yeah, why not hang on? I mean, he's got to get there first, doesn't he? Like any anti-close bet. So just a little word of caution there. But it was impressive. And again, Cobden riding from the front, brilliant. My second one was on Sunday and was in the big hurdle race. It was the Unibet at 3:30. The Unibet Greatwood Handicap Hurdle. Always a good race. Used to be a bit of a champion hurdle trial. I'm not sure it is anymore, but it's very, very good handicap. Iberico Lord won.
Is it that race?
Yeah, there's been some good ones there, yeah. Catch It, I think, won it before going on to come back and win a champion hurdle. Iberico Lord.
Ran well in it, I'm pretty sure as well.
Yeah, Rooster, yeah. Nicky Henderson there, Nico de Bourneville, very impressive. Did this off 11 stone. Look Away ran a blinder for Neil King, the horse that had won the novice race at the first meeting. So he's gone into up-aged handicap straight away. He's 6-year-old, but very inexperienced, and ran a blinder. So I wonder if they'll stay in handicaps or come back to graded novices there with him. That'd be interesting. He's one to watch if they do come back to novice company. He would probably go for the Betfair hurdle, I would think, at Newbury at some stage where novices have a good record. But the third for me is the one that we've got to take out of this race. He actually went off shorter than Iberico Lord, which you wouldn't have believed in the morning. It was Lucia, who was ridden by James Bowen. Now, this horse has got a bit of a mixed reputation and thrown in the odd poor performance, but I thought this was an outstanding run. Bearing in mind, folks, this is a handicap. He's got beaten 4.5 lengths. He's carried 11 stone 10 on very soft, tiring ground. And, on the book, he's come out like really, really well. I mean, the Me and Lion has carried 12 stone. That's run a sensational race to be fifth.
Made a mistake late on as well, didn't he?
He clobbered 2 hurdles badly. And it'd be very interesting to see him and Lucia square off. But Lucia, I think, will go for that big handicap hurdle at Ascot at Christmas, which Iberico Lord might go for again. But Iberico Lord's going to get clobbered. If you win the Greatwood, the handicapper takes a rather dim view. And I think they want to come out of this race. I thought it was a superb performance. Just couldn't quite carry the weight. Had been second at Wetherby in a listed race when everybody was sort of disappointed. And the horse that beat it was called You Wear It Well, Jamie Snowden horse. And I think this gives an absolute huge boost to that because it beat Lucia 3 lengths and gave it a pound. So that one's been franked. I think this was a real high quality handicap. Lucia off 11.6. I thought it was an outstanding performance. So that and the Me and Lion, if he learns to, I don't think he likes Cheltenham. That's the second time he's clobbered hurdles. And when he runs at a flat track, he seems to whiz over the hurdles. So I wonder if that's the last time we'll see him at Cheltenham. But they'd be the two. But Lucia. So everybody's talking about Iberico Lord, but I suspect Henderson deep down was probably slightly even more happy with Lucia's run. So he'd be my second one on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. And what I like about Lucia, I think that was her first run in a handicap. She's been running, in graded races, and like you say, gives the Frank to you wear it well. But I can see her certainly picking up a graded a mares race as well going forwards. But I think her mark's definitely not beyond her. Put it that way.
Yeah, it may well be that we see her at the festival in the mares race.
Yeah, could be. Could well be. He's good at eking out a little bit of improvement out of these mares, this Henderson. So,
given that she ran so
tight.
well in her first handicap, Judge, he might skip that and go for the county.
Possibly, yeah. It's good races to be had with her. She's very good, useful, and probably wouldn't want the ground quite as soft as that as well. On slightly better ground, she'd have a better chance of getting home because it was quite attritional, and you could see and also she only had a run a couple of weeks ago, so it might have come quite quickly for her. So I mean, there's a few reasons for her to actually improve on that run, really.
Oh yeah. I think she's very exciting.
Yeah, very much so. So my last one, let's be honest, Springwell Bay, who won the 3:30 on Saturday. This is a novice going places and was beaten at Aintree in a race that's thrown up loads of winners previous. But there was a run here from a horse who finished in behind it that really took my eye. And the mark this horse has got, there's surely some couple of wins to be had this season with this horse. But like I say, Springwell Bay is bang solid. Probably one of the best English novices, arguably, of last season. Was sick to Irish Point. If you go back and look at that particular form line, you'll find there's at least 4 or 5 winners out of that race. Really has run up a few good winners. But Springwell Bay running this handicap off a mark of 137 was an easier winner than it looked. But please look at the run back of a horse called Tiger Jet. This is a Brian Ellison horse, only rated 115, running in a handicap hurdle at Cheltenham. This was given a quiet ride and stayed on strongly into third, only beaten a length and a half at the line. There's some excellent form. There's funny enough, another Haydock horse. Won at Haydock last year from a horse called the Changing Man, who's franked that form, and then was 6th in the big handicap final there, beating 17 and a half lengths in the 26 grand handicap. This horse is still only rated 115, Si, and I can't help thinking this has got some business to be had off that mark. It'll probably go up a few pounds for this excellent third. But this was a quiet run and really stayed on well over 2 miles 5. It's got form over 3 miles. This horse should be winning in its next start or the next couple of starts. I don't know what you thought.
No, completely. I mean, I actually tipped him back the second Guienne game, whatever Tizard horse, which took keen hold, then flew after the last, and they had a set two with yours, Tiger Jet, for second in the photograph, and there was nearly 3 lengths back to the 4th. Springwell Bay, wow, very impressive. Idled a bit up the running, but would have gone away if anything had got to it. Tiger Jet, there's a big handicap at the Christmas meeting at Wetherby. There's also, we know Alison, his beloved home track Newcastle. There's some races there that I would think he would target for that. But yeah, you've got to think sent back up north, maybe off top weight he could do some serious damage. Cobden, interesting booking. There was a little tip in itself there. I don't think he'd have ridden many for Brian Ellison.
No, that's right.
But yeah, I thought it was an interesting race for a lot of reasons. The second gear name, surely they'll send that back here over 3 miles, or Chepstow over 3. Seems to be a dour stay of that thing. Tiger Jet, that was a class 3. Would you see dropped out to a class 4 in the north off top weight? And Bullier Field could see him doing that easily. And Springwell Bay, you've got to say he's got to be ridden now in open company, hadn't he, really? And see how good this thing is.
I think the handicap was definitely going to put him up at least 7 for that. I mean, he won easier than the length and a half would suggest. Because he actually won the race twice, if you like, because he sort of went really early. Then they come to him at the last and he went away again. So I like horses that can actually sort of like win a race twice, if you like. I think they've got well in front of their marks.
And next year, I suspect he'll be some 3 mile chaser.
Yeah, he's got a nice stamp about him, hasn't he? Yeah, it's nice, nice type.
Right. One of them, that awful cliche, anything over hurdles is a big
Yes.
bonus.
You hear that so many times and it just don't happen, does it?
And I've just said it. Yeah. And we got loads to go out there. So for
Brilliant.
Cheltenham.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to wrap up the show, and I wish you a good week. We've got some great racing at the end of the week again, haven't we? Ascot and the Betfair Chase. It's got all happening this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, really looking forward to it. And we'll have a look at a race on Saturday.
Yes, let's do that. All the best, mate.
Until
What do we say?
Be lucky.
Be lucky.